Hello everybody, today we are going to start with a new grammar lesson which is the active and passive voice. Would you rather watch LeBron play basketball or some random person sitting in the stands? Let's see, why did I ask you this question? Verbs and voices. A voice is the form a verb takes to indicate whether the subject. So it tells what is the form of the verb, or what does the verb perform or receive. There are two types of voices, the active voice and the passive voice. Mustafa. The active voice is used to show that the subject of the sentence is performing or causing the action. For example, let's see these sentences. LeBron threw the basketball before the buzzer. So here it's clear that LeBron, who is the subject in the sentence, did the action. LeBron shot the basketball from the free throw line. So LeBron did the action. LeBron scored 3 points. The passive voice is the opposite. It is used when the subject is the recipient of the action. For example, the ball was thrown by LeBron. So here, LeBron is not the one who did the action. The basketball was shot by LeBron. The score was made by LeBron. And if you can see, we always have by in the passive voice. Why does it matter if we write a passive voice or an active voice? Strong writing uses active voices. Dayman, in the strong writing, we use active voice. Why does it matter? The active voice is more direct and concise. It means it's clear. The passive voice is usually wordier. Active voice is like watching LeBron playing. So you can see or you can find everything you are asking about in the sentence. While the passive voice is like watching gum stuck on the bleachers on the stands. Most of the time you want to use the active voice because it shows directly who is the subject and who did the action. When would we want to use the passive voice? When intentionally trying to hide the subject, yani when you mean to hide the subject in the sentence. For example, a politician might say, the mistake was made by someone. Hiding the subject helps him or her hide the blame. So here we didn't mention who did the mistake. The mistake was made by someone. When intentionally trying to minimize the guilt of the subject. For example, a cheating boyfriend might say, cheating was committed by me. Okay? When passive voice better emphasizes the main point of the message, such as children were harmed by the drunk driver. Okay, so here I'm emphasizing the point or the message. Form of passive and passive voice. The passive voice requires a double verb and will always consist of form of the verb to be. And the past participle usually the ENEDT form or another. Let's see how. The active, John baked the bread. The passive form, the bread was baked by John. Was is a form of the verb to be. Why did we use was? Because baked is in the past tense. Let's see the other examples. Forms of the passive voice. Writers should be familiar with the forms to be, often linking verbs so that they can easily identify the passive voice in their work. So when you want to write a passive sentence, you have to use a helping verb or the form of the verb to be, which are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. Forms of the passive voice. Note the forms of the to be in the examples of the verb to cook, to kick, for example, in various forms of the passive voice. Let's see. Is kicked, had been kicked. Was kicked, is going to be kicked. Is being kicked, will be kicked. Has been kicked, can be kicked. Was being kicked, should be kicked. So here It's how the tenses are being changed. Examples. The cookies were eaten by the children. This is the passive voice. In the active voice, the children ate the cookies. Why did we use were? First of all, لأنه children is a plural noun, so the first thing I have to use is were, and I write eaten. The origin form of eaten is eat, so I write the verb in its root form. The passive voice, the tunnels are dug by the gophers. Okay? The tunnels, plural. Are is a present verb, so the tunnels are dug. The gophers dug the tunnels. Okay? In this chart, you can see how the verbs are being changed. Simple present, past, and future. You can see in the simple present am is are, simple past was and were, simple future shall and will. Continuous am is plus or are plus being plus the past participle of the verb. In the past, continuous was or were and plus the verb in ing in the active. And then in the passive voice, we add being and the verb in the past participle. In the future, we can use the active voice but not the passive. So we can use shall or will be plus the verb plus ing, but it's not applicable in the passive voice, and so on. So of course, we're going to explain them more in live sessions. These are also some exercises. We're going to solve them together in the live sessions.